Hey guys, how's it going? This is a brand new podcast called Hoping Mum and Dad with me, Fuzz, and my wife Becky. We decided to put this podcast together because we're both looking at doing IVF. Shock of the century. We're both looking to do IVF.
Oh my god.
Basically this is episode number 1. We thought we'd just do a podcast, maybe share our story with other people, because I don't know if this is the right thing, but misery likes company is the saying. But it's a bit of a roller coaster, lots of ups, lots of downs, and if you share your story and talk about it with other people going through the same thing, then it doesn't, it can maybe stuff we've been through can help other people. And vice versa, and obviously we love to hear from other people and their stories, and wherever. So I'm just gonna pop you onto Becky full screen.
Hey.
Let's just, what we're gonna talk about.
Well, IVF obviously. Trying to conceive a baby, and fertility or infertility.
How are babies made?
How are babies made? Well, that's an awkward question. Well, I think we'll cover loads of things, hopefully, through different episodes. But
first of all, who do you like listening to and checking IVF news with and all that kind of stuff? Who's been an inspiration to look at?
Oh, so I've been a proper creep. And I've, on my personal Instagram, been following loads of people for trying to conceive for a long time, because we've been doing this since 2017 now. But I started... I
think we've been doing the thing that makes babies for a lot longer.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, maybe a bit too long. No, but trying to have a baby for 3 years, isn't it? Just over now.
Yeah. That's an awkward question, isn't it? How long have we been having sex for? How long have we been trying to have babies for? Because if I said one number and you said another, that could be very awkward.
No, I think it would be the same. No.
Happens.
Yeah, it does happen, but not in this case.
No. Sure.
So back to the other question, who inspired me, or who's been inspiring me? I've been listening to mainly Big Fat Negative podcast.
Who are the people that don't do that? Don't blow on the mic. That's
Oops.
horrendous for people's ears.
Epic fail.
Who are the people? Who are the people that take the piss out of the Californian over the? Is that the people?
Yeah.
And for me, I just feel my story is
Gabby and Emma on Big Fat Negative.
I do listen to Gabby and Emma, hilarious.
Yeah.
I dip in and out. I don't listen full on, but I dip in.
Yeah, you just on the sidelines while I'm watching it, or listening to it rather, when I'm not on my headphones, and they talk about our journey.
Yeah. No, I think as a guy, I can listen to bits of it, but I don't think it's meant for me.
Well, no, it is.
It is, but I mean, maybe I don't know. But this might be a chance for it. Who knows? I might just get bored of doing this, and well, not bored, but I might be shit at it.
Charming.
So you might end up taking it over, and I might just come in every now and again. But we'll do it. For the moment, we were going to try and do, both of us and stuff. But have you heard any podcasts with men and women?
Well, at the moment, I don't listen to any.
Or both partners, should I say?
Well, exactly, because there's same-sex couples that go through fertility and IVF treatment a lot as well. But I have felt that the trying to conceive community, on a whole, and this is a massive generalization, but mainly it's from the female perspective.
Who are you going to upset? Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm trying not to upset anyone, but
you will. It's the internet. That's what happens.
But it's that community online is amazing, and there's so many people who support each other. Yeah, it's fierce. But it's majority female, and from what I listen to on podcasts and stuff, and what we've experienced when we go into the clinic or have been into the hospital,
that's funny.
It's really focused on the feminine, which is kind of not fair a lot of the time.
Well, no, but to be fair, I think the whole process is more female. Well, it's entirely female led if you're well, no matter how you make a baby, it has to come out of a woman.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless they've got some new thing and I'm being stupid.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing on that Gabby and Emma's Big Fat Negative podcast, I called it a podcast by accident on my stories.
I just feel...
No, they're brilliant.
That's a Bill Burr shout. That's like copying Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm mixing the two up now.
Since they've both been successful in their IVF journeys and they've both got little baby each now, they've invited another couple onto their podcast who do a little feature every week, and they're actually based in Cardiff, and they're called Operation Foxbrio or Operation_Foxbrio. Mr. and Mrs. Fox, I think. I'm guessing.
It's a good name, though.
Yeah, it's a really cool name. So that's getting more of the male side now, which is really good because I think it's important to have a voice. Also, but I think there's like you said, same-sex couples that are...
But how much does it actually involve us guys? I mean...
Well,
no.
You know how much because you've had a nice little relationship with a cat.
Yeah. So, no, but I mean, like... as a woman, you probably... Like, loads of men... obviously think about having kids and they want kids and this thing, but I do think that there's like a strong kind of more dominant pull on it for women. It's probably like a nature thing, you know, like I always wanted kids, and then so our story is we were trying to have kids, didn't happen, we got checked out, and I had a low count. And I spoke to my brother and my dad about it. My brother has got a kid, and he had low count too. And he went. He got checked out, had a low count, and but yeah, sorry, Seb. Like
you've just named him now as well.
Sorry, Seb. Right. I can always bleep that out afterwards. Shit. Nah, he'll be fine. So. Yeah, and then they went on the waiting list and then ended up having... crop myself a bit weird, yeah, because like my nose on the edge of the screen, I'm going to look like some sort of Halloween villain. He said... stop naming him. He went on
Your brother?
Yeah, my brother. I have more than one. He went on the waiting list, and while they were on the waiting list, they ended up conceiving naturally.
Which is in some cases amazing, but now that they're kind of thinking about baby number 2, it's sucky because they don't really qualify anymore, do they?
I don't know.
But that's a story for another day, I think.
Yeah, you might want to just bring this mic a little bit closer to you. Come on. That's it. So...
Is that close enough?
Yeah, and you just got to remember to speak at the same volume as well. It's
okay.
Really annoying with these condenser mics. So, anyway, I had a low count. And when I found out, I was like, oh, that's shit. But whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if that's... I do care, but I don't want it... I don't want to let it ruin my life. I don't want to obsess about it and just be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I just be like, oh, well.
Yeah, that's important.
Whatever.
I think you're like playing it a bit cool. I think you were a bit frustrated when we actually found out because the GP couldn't read your results properly, could he?
No.
So he didn't explain it to us at the time.
Yeah, so like our GP just... Yeah, he didn't really know what he was reading. He was like...
He didn't know that we were going there for that appointment.
The results were read out to me, I think, by the GP.
Yeah,
and the GP was like, I think it's this.
Yeah.
And I said, so is that like a genetic factor? Is that something that can be worked on? Is that lifestyle stuff? Is it my weight? Because I was a bit heavier at the time. And he was like, I don't know.
He just couldn't answer any of your questions, could he?
You know, wherever. So, yeah. And then, but even when I did find out, I was like, oh, I just don't want to... I don't want to just, like, be some really sad... I don't want to be sad over it. I just want to be like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do anything about it. I don't know. I used to ride BMX a lot, and I've had a couple of mountain bikes, and a lot of stuff that hurts you if you fuck up.
It's really dark that I just laughed then, because I'm just thinking of you, like, falling on your bike.
You're a dark creature, aren't you? Remember the other day when you sprayed me in the eye with disinfectant?
No, on purpose.
Instead of going, are you okay? You just pissed yourself laughing.
It was funny though.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what can you do about it? I didn't know if it was like an environmental thing.
Mm.
I didn't know whether or not it was like from a crash, because I've like had a couple of crashes on bikes and stuff like that. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like, I don't know. So we got checked out. And then if you want to lead us through the rest of the story up to where we are now.
Yeah, well, I think you've only like touched the surface really, but do you mean in terms of
Just come on.
the whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, apart from that, it wasn't as straightforward as just having the male factor, was it? Because of my thyroid getting messed up again. So,
But as far as we know, that you are okay, though.
yeah.
But they
so,
won't check you out because they know I'm bad.
No, they have checked me out. They
Yeah.
So when we had the initial investigations back in like winter, November, December 2018, they just did the hormone test on me. So they check your AMH levels, and I'm sure they said they check for rubella as well, or something like that. So
Nutella.
yeah, rubella. I don't know why or how that's relevant, but when we went back to the GP, they didn't mention anything about me, so we just assumed that it was on your side. And then that was December 2018, and then he referred us. He said he was going to refer us because it wouldn't happen naturally, and we didn't hear anything for a while. I was expecting to get a letter or something, so I phoned up Wales Fertility Institute in like the February of 2019, and they didn't have us on the books. So I was just like, oh, where have we been referred to? And had to do some digging and found out that we'd been referred to gynecology at the Heath in Cardiff, and the gynecology department said that we were on their waiting list and we would see them in June. So then I got to that appointment. I don't think you could come to that one with me for whatever reason. I went to see someone called Dr. Davis, and he said basically I gave him permission to check your count. I don't know how.
Yeah,
I don't know how, but I had to sign something to consent it because I explained what happened. Or maybe we did that on the second time, but I explained him what happened. And he said, that's all fine. It sounds like you'll need IVF, but because you're being referred to us first, we're going to do further investigations of our own just to check that there aren't any other things going on. So they did another sperm sample or sperm test for you, and they checked my AMH levels again and the other blood tests that they do on certain days of your cycle, and they did an ultrasound scan on me to check that things were okay inside, I guess, like with my tubes. I don't know how deep that goes though.
I'm just reading the notes here, and it says third example. You wanted me to go in with you, but I chickened out.
Yeah. So this was the third time that you had to do a sperm sample.
And to be fair, when you go in, you feel like a creep.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows what you're doing in there.
Well,
it's no secret. And you go in, and most of the people in there, like young people. I don't know why. If they were old, you could be like, I'm completely different to you. So, but they're like the same age. Probably could have gone to the same school. Or whatever. And it's just a bit of a weird feeling. But got in there, got the job done. Yeah,
well, you had a bit of a tough time getting them done. Like the first time,
I picture it like Speed, with Sandra Bullock and thing. But with me and a cup and a car and traffic between Barry and the Heath.
Yeah, because obviously they gave you the option, didn't they? When in those initial investigations.
Who in their right mind is going to want to say, no, let me give my sample in a waiting room of a hospital or whatever, when I could do it in the luxury.
Do it in the waiting room, you get arrested.
You know what I'm saying? The room that they give you.
The special room. Yeah, so you obviously opted for home, and I remember you wanted me to take a day off work and help you with it. I was like, I can't do that. So I'm sure I was like,
we're in this together. For me, I just feel like this is our journey.
I think you just set up surround sound in the living room, and I encouraged you to set yourself up in there and have the surround sound.
You think you get a hilarious idea in your head, you just won't let it drop, and it's like
that is
it's like
funny,
that Stuart Lee shit bottle joke where it's like not funny, 10 minutes in slightly funny, 50 minutes in hilarious, and then you just can't breathe.
But anyway, so that time you did it, and then you rushed it to the Heath. But like anyone knows, traffic between Barry and the Heath is never good. So you didn't
Just
make
me and
it
the
there in
pot.
time. I think you couldn't find parking, could you? And then you didn't know where the unit was, so you were
No.
just like rushing around the hospital,
Holding
like
the pot. Just me and the pot.
yeah, don't mind me.
Oh, by
So the next
So-
time you decided to go in, and I couldn't come with you because I was at work, and that was fine.
'Cause
And
you're
then
lazy.
the third time, when gynecology wanted your sample, they
Everyone wanted a bit.
yeah, you said famous sperm. They all want a bit of you.
Signing up.
They you wanted me to come in with you to help you out a little bit.
Why not?
I envisioned
It's obviously more fun together.
when you said that, I like envisioned myself going in like in a mat.
No. What happened? One time we went in and the woman, there was a young girl there,
Yeah,
working,
so-
not girl, woman, whatever, like,
Yeah.
but like
Ooh.
younger than us, whatever. And I was like on the way in to the room, and you were around or
Yeah.
something, and she was like, "Oh, you going together?" And you just went.
I was like, no.
Waves of shame came over you. You were just like.
Yeah. Well, that's shame's another thing as well, isn't it? Because we've been watching.
We were watching Big Mouth.
Mouth.
I don't know if anyone's watched Big Mouth, but there was the Shame Monster.
No, it's
No, Shame
called,
Lizard.
It's called the Shame Wizard, but we call it the Shame Lizard.
So it's actually called the Shame Wizard, but
Yeah.
I'm an idiot and I thought it was the Shame Lizard.
Yeah, I can't
So I'm
remember.
like, Shame Lizard.
It's a really famous British actor that plays his part as well. And at
So
the-
you were writing reminders on me, like, date with the cup,
on our
2 weeks
calendar.
away,
Yeah.
Shame Lizard.
Yeah. I had set reminders on your phone and like alarm times on the day saying shame, shame.
Wouldn't it be? I'd be interested in other people's, other listeners' thoughts and input on it. Is Becky lazy for not putting a shift
Hey.
in and doing it together? Because it's our journey back. We're
It
doing
is
this
our
together.
journey, but
I need you to be fierce.
As much as you felt creepy going into that room and just producing your sample on your own,
It's horrible.
I felt weird going in there
Do you know
with
what?
you, like, oh, they know what we've been doing.
Exactly.
And also, I think
we
there's
could be shamed together. That's the whole point.
yeah, sorry. I don't think you'll be
Next
allowed
time?
in when they start poking around in me.
There we go. Well, we should do. It's fun to make, to get to like laugh at it, innit?
Yeah, definitely.
If someone said, go, can you please go into this room and finish your sample? You'd be like, yeah. But if we were both there, to be honest, I don't know if it might take longer because you'd just be crying with laughter, telling me like the shame lizard and stuff.
Yeah, it would have been awkward. Anyone who could
Would have
hear
been a story
in
though.
that room.
Imagine if you had finally do have a kid and you could be like, you were conceived. Wow, what's the point? Conception. People have conception stories for like natural birth, natural conception.
I guess
When is the point where it's actually
when the eggs are fertilized in the
dish?
in the lab.
Mm.
Yeah, but ours aren't. We're gonna be referred for ICSI, so ours aren't just gonna be let,
All right,
let to do their
let's
thing.
get these listeners up to speed. So
Okay.
I went in, got shamed hard, went home with a pot once, went back.
Mhm.
You were lazy, didn't put shift in, didn't help me produce the sample. It was all on me.
Yeah, and then they had to do my tests. So I went back for a blood test on a certain day of my cycle.
And at this point, you were. This is after your thyroid stuff.
No, this is
before thyroid stuff. So
I had
Becky
the-
has hypothyroidism. I'm just trying to get, because we'll get muddled up.
Yeah.
Otherwise. You have hypothyroidism, which was settled-ish, but you were on medication for it.
I wasn't. No.
No. It was like gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went for IVF treatment. Then, was it the IVF that triggered us to look into it, or was it just...
No,
It
it
went
just
high wire,
happened.
yeah.
It just happened. Like I've had it since I was 18, and this is the 4th time it's come back. So sounds dramatic when you say it, but when it goes, you're kind of called it's in remission, and that sounds weird because everyone thinks of the C word. But so it's happened 4 times. This was the 4th time it's come back, and I think
So we were all set.
we're all good.
IVF checks, then completely separate. Your thyroid went weird again.
Yeah, in June.
So we went back. So we got that looked at.
Yeah, we decided to go privately to have that looked at because we knew that it would probably affect our fertility even
We are
more.
pretty desperate to get some kids.
Yeah. So we went private to see my consultant, and he was really good. And and then referred me on to the NHS with him as my consultant.
Mhm.
And there's loads of different ways they can treat hypothyroidism. It's not really curable, so mostly they manage you with tablets, medication, which is what I've done the 3 times before, but this time we decided to do that
Yeah.
radio iodine treatment.
So IVF was going great.
Yeah.
Thyroid went weird.
So I hadn't
Got
started
that
on
looked
any
at.
tablets yet.
No,
I don't
okay.
think. Oh no, they might have put me on carbimazole to just like bring down my thyroid levels.
Thyroid tablets, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thyroid treatment. So got your thyroid looked at,
Yeah.
and then
And then
that was a mass.
and that-
we had to wait for a while. Do you mean?
Yeah, well, during that summer, while I was having talks about my thyroid, I had to have my blood test again for fertility, and I had to have that scan, which I had at Landock Hospital.
For ovaries and all that.
Yeah, to
So you've
check
had-
my womb and everything
So you've
inside.
had
Like,
most of the checks done to make sure you're all taken.
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then we were on the way. Then we got all our appointment back because we'd had all our tests done. We went back to gynecology in October 2019, and basically they said your sperm sample hadn't dramatically changed. It still wasn't brilliant, didn't
It was
they?
a little bit. It was like I had 0.1, and then I had like 0.3 or something like that, and then it was up a bit.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it had improved, but not dramatically.
Yeah. So, and this is what I'm interested in because like I had like a lump or something checked out before, and I had an ultrasound on it, and it's all been looked at and checked and stuff, and it's nothing or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like a little. This is gross, by the way, but like, just something that feels like it shouldn't be there, just like a little cyst or something like that, or some sort of just bit of a weird thing going on. So, but I had it checked out, and they said it's fine. Now, my brother said, but I'll just bleep it out if he's weird about it. He shouldn't be. He said that he was reading bits and pieces and stuff like that, and it could be like little things like you can have an infection that clears up and scars and like just weird like random normal body stuff that can just affect
Yeah,
like
fertility.
blockages and things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't even want to think about it and go and get down the road and hope that it's the one thing. But I think there's this. There could be a potential, because if you have a lot, I don't really know, but I think if you have trauma and it like heals weird, like it could be working but just not delivering.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember properly the conversation. We saw a different doctor the time we went back in October to the gynecology ward, outpatient's place, and they said my AMH levels were really good. Which meant that I had a good ovarian reserve, I think they said, and my scan had come back normal, so everything seemed to be okay apart from my thyroid thing, which will affect it. Or could if it's not managed properly. And they said obviously yours had improved slightly, but it was still below average. So do you remember them saying they were going to do 2 things?
Yeah. What you say
Do you
it like
remember?
you're testing me.
No, I mean, we haven't talked about it for a little while, and you're always like, oh, what happened?
I know. I don't like thinking about it. I just want to give me a date. Cool. Not think about it. Date comes, go and do the thing. Don't think about it. Go back. I don't like hanging on. So they said they were going to check me for physiological.
Yeah.
Check me for like just I don't know. Send me to a urologist who was going to check stuff. Maybe do ultrasounds and stuff. Like the same sort of stuff they've done before. But maybe this guy will know a bit more about it. And then a DNA test or something.
Yeah, because they want to rule out any possible genetic reason why you might have a low count. And I think they said they'll look for...
That creeped me out because I was like, does that mean like they're going to find out if I've got a gene that makes me like susceptible for MS or any of these weird,
Well,
horrible...
she mentioned cystic fibrosis, didn't she?
Yeah, but the thing that I was worried about, and I hope I'm telling the right version of this, but I was worried about them turning around and going, oh yeah, so there's a chance that you could get this disease or this disease or this disease, all things that will affect me now going into later life. And they said, and I hope they're not just saying it to be nice and keep me calm or whatever, but I think what they said to me, no, the things that we were checking for are things that would have affected you by now.
Yeah.
And things that would make like genetic reasons why you would have a low count. And I explained, because it's horrible. I don't want to know like if I'm higher risk for X, Y, or Z that's going to suddenly develop in my 30s or 40s.
If you think about when you go for a blood test, they could test your blood for so many things, and they don't do that because they're looking for a specific thing.
Mm.
So that's the same thing with your DNA blood test. They're
No,
looking for
but
specific.
I don't know if I would have gone ahead with it. Well, I probably would, because I would have had to.
I would have forced you to.
No, but I don't want to know. Like, because if they go,
Yeah.
you've got there's a 20% chance you're going to get this thing,
Yeah.
this disease or MS
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, I think that's horrible to have that hanging over you all the time,
Yeah.
because you can't, like, stuff with no cure or treatment for anyway.
Yeah. Well, they don't
So-
have a.
No, but what is that the way that you remember it? They said
Yeah.
that they were going to only check for stuff
Yeah.
that probably would not have any effect on you.
Yeah. Like if you basically, she said if you had the gene for that, which you might have, which would be not a dominant gene. I don't know what the word is for the other one. Then
Passive.
then you would have had it already. Like it would have been
But
apparent.
so you can have a passive gene for a disease that you don't actually activate,
Yeah.
but it can still
Like,
prevent
you might have a
but it
gene
can
for
still
green
lower your
eyes.
sperm count.
Yeah. Same thing.
Cool. Yeah, I get pretty anxious about stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So like,
The most I was surprised about it was that she said it's taken like 6 to 7 months to get the results back for those DNA things, which didn't matter because of my thyroid stuff, but was still like, whoa, that's a long time.
I think it's quite a lot of data processing power involved
Yeah.
in
Probably.
which is, I don't know. So
Yeah.
where we're at now is
I've had my radioiodine treatment, and I had to be on my own for a month when I had that. That was a bit weird. And you went for your DNA test while I was away, and they got it wrong, and then you had to go back. So we were kind of a month behind even more. So that happened November 2019, and then we already knew we were being referred at that point in October 19 for IVF. So I think I called them about January, February, because I hadn't heard anything this year, 2020, just to say, I think by like May or June, I'm in the safe zone to start conceiving again after the radioiodine treatment, and we should be getting your DNA results back. And
we should have them back now.
Yeah, but they won't post them to you, will they? I
dunno.
you could phone them and ask them for them, but I don't know what
I
they'll
don't even
do.
know if there's anyone working there.
Yeah, but there is. The thing I was querying was like they'd mentioned, like you said, the urologist. So I was thinking that you'd get a letter through about the urology department.
Maybe I could go to a private urologist just to speed it up and get that checked off.
Yeah.
If it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Check. Yeah, we had a little bit of a technical issue there. We just dropped out for a sec, but we were just talking about urology. So like I was. That's the latest thing that we were waiting to happen. I was meant to go and see a urologist, get the all clear from them.
No. So when I called, they just said that the Wales Fertility Institute have their own urologist. So when we come in, which was supposed to be the end of March, beginning of April 2020, then they would see us, talk about a treatment plan, and do all the signing and everything else. So that we're still quite far away, considering lots of other people are further on their journey. So yeah, we're kind of fortunate in this scenario in the pandemic.
So that was the last instructions we had. Come back wherever, and we had an appointment booked, didn't we?
No.
I thought we did, and then it got pushed back because of the closures and all. Oh, we were told it should be around. We didn't have it actually confirmed, but they said you should have an appointment generally.
Yeah, they said they were going to phone us at the end of March, beginning of April, and the appointment would be within 2 weeks of that.
So that was where we were at, and then obviously coronavirus hit.
Mm-hmm.
Everything went nuts, and then we had letters, didn't we, saying, like, don't worry, basically we're all shutting down. Everything's kind of, and rightly so. We are like, gutted, but at the same time, people are dying and stuff, so we can wait. Like, we can. Like, I'd rather. Yeah,
we don't have a choice.
Yeah, but I think the severity, like, they're not doing it willy nilly. They're not doing it to save money or doing it for any other reason. They're doing it because they have to, like, it's the redeployment of NHS staff. And
we're just in a situation now, since the 11th of May, they've been able to apply to reopen the fertility clinics and centres all over the place.
I know you're livid about this, because other IVF places are.
You make me sound like a witch.
No, but we don't know. Like, I don't know, like, maybe I got a feeling that the NHS in Wales gets less funding per head than
So-
hospitals in England. So there's probably a good reason
Well,
why they're not open.
yeah, I agree. But since I've made this account, Hoping Mum and Dad, and been even deeper into the community, taking a deep dive in there, I found out from other people in our local area who are being treated by Wales Fertility Institute that although they've made an application, the health board haven't sent it in. So when I phoned WFI and said, "What's the deal now because of lockdown? When will we find out?" They said that they've applied. It's just a wait and see scenario. But other people have found out that they've sent the application to the health board, but the health board haven't submitted it to the Human Fertilization Embryo Authority. I think that's what it's called.
Try and condense that to
So basically, our fertility clinic has done everything they can, but the health board haven't sent it yet.
Yeah, but they've probably got. That's what I mean. They're probably
Well, I think the whole pandemic
trucks full
thing.
of bodies they've got to get coroners to sign off on, and they've probably got other big issues to figure out.
South Wales was a bit of an epicenter for the virus, wasn't it?
Yeah, because of absolute wallies that was going around saying stuff like, "It's just a cold, don't worry about it," and going to rugby matches and just completely disregarding all the advice.
Yeah, sucks, doesn't it? But hey-ho.
So, so basically we're waiting for them to be able to work again.
Yeah.
And when they are, then they'll send us a date which will be for the urology and the...
I think it will just be hey, come and sign your forms and let's get you started. So they'll probably make an appointment for you then to see the urologist, and then the next appointment after that will be a treatment plan, probably.
Yeah, so...
Ways forward.
Yeah, we're just waiting on that, really.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get my hopes up because we don't know what's going on. We don't know how long it's going to take. But on a more somber note, they did say that they were if it's not necessarily first come first serve. If you were at the top of the list before, you might not be now.
Yeah.
And then they explained it because people might have been diagnosed with terminal illnesses since then that are further down the line.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
If one of us was dying.
Yeah.
And wanted to have a kid, and there was 15, 20 couples ahead of us that weren't diagnosed with a terminal illness, then I would
and older
forfeit.
people they're gonna prioritize too.
Yeah,
and
people would probably have come into that, people that were at the cusp where they were just about to get onto their treatment plan might have turned.
I mean, I know we don't feel like spring chickens or anything, but we're definitely not the oldest in trying to conceive, but we're not the youngest either. But 32 and 33, we're kind of
I think
in a safe place kind of thing.
Yeah, let's just not. Well, I don't think it matters what I say to you, but I'm trying not to sort of obsess about it and try not to sort of think about it too much. Because
I'm just enjoying talking to people, really.
Yeah, I know, but we can only do what
Making
we can do.
Friends.
So yeah, we're just waiting for that, really.
Yeah.
So I think we've pretty much got everyone up to date and sort of, I think we'll probably wrap up in a minute and maybe sort of think a little bit about what we might do for the next episode. In the next episode, we might talk a little bit about things that we're doing health wise. Vitamins, nutrition, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then part of me thinks that's great. I'm going to do that anyway for myself. But I don't expect any sort of miracle cures. We do take vitamin D and then all of a sudden my sperm count's through the roof again.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it'd be interesting. Maybe we could have an update on the urology side of things. Maybe I could, if we find out who the urologist for the Wales Institute is. Yeah. Maybe if there's a setting, because those consultants usually work in more than one place. Yeah. So maybe if the hospital's not safe to go back into, because they've got corona wards and all that, maybe if he works somewhere else, we can maybe get the appointment out of the way. I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. But
maybe it'd be cool to speak to some other people as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We don't really know anyone that's going through IVF. No. So.
I mean, a family member's been through it before, but there's no one close to us who's been through it. No. So yeah, come say hi.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna sign off and say goodbye now. But then, Beck, do you want to just tell people where they can connect and get hold of us? Because I think Instagram's the main one, right?
Yeah, at the moment it's just Instagram. So on Instagram we're at Hoping Mum and Dad.
Yeah, we love to hear from you. So
yeah, get in touch.
Drop us a message if you're going through it right now. You're in the same situation as us. If you've just been through it, if you know someone is, wherever.
Or just come and laugh at my stupid stories because I'm properly geeky and don't know what I'm doing.
I know. I'm hoping that we'll have lots of interesting topics to talk about, but we'll probably end up trying to reach out to other people and talk with them and stuff like that. And I've got the equipment to do remote guests as well, so yeah, that should be cool. So yeah, we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, bye.
Ta-ra.